alternatives to the social contract and alternatives to the rule of law. Now, I know that a lot of people, it was almost like qualified immunity. Before we met, before you and I talked, and before we shared and could see on a graphic that Terry versus Ohio creates this incredible prison state that so many of you guys downloaded that poster, right? Hey JD, how you guys doing? Overturn Terry. How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys. Good to see everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? So remember, does anybody hit the number one button, everybody? Good to see everybody. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I'm going to show you guys something. We're going to do a real world demonstration. You're going to see, oh, I still have on my gym glasses. Whoops. Sorry. I did a hike today on Runyon Canyon. So these are my workout glasses. So you guys saw the video that I made in response to Brian over Here's the Deal, right? You guys saw that video that I did in response to him in regards to the social contract, right? So now tonight what I'm going to do, remember, we don't just live under a social contract, we also live under natural law, and we also live under the separation of powers. So we don't just live under a social contract. Our Constitution is based on a Republican representative. That's the entire basis of the United States Constitution. That's the whole thing, is that we're based on a Republican concept of governance. A Republican concept of governance requires a willingly governed body of people. Because we vote for a representative, the Republican, that Republican does the bidding for that area, for that little group of people. And then it goes bigger from the town to the borough to the city to the, right? It's pretty simple. That's why in the past, in especially in the French Revolution, they took those mayors and they crucified them because they didn't do the bidding of the people. Roll call. How's everybody doing? Where's everybody from? Where is everybody from? Where's everybody from? Where is everybody from? Where's you guys at? I'm sorry I'm on so late, but I'm in LA still. I didn't get out of town today, so I'm gonna leave tomorrow morning. I'm gonna stay with my buddy David here in LA because all of my stuff, Rockwood, Toronto. What's up, Toronto? Detroit, Florida. Where are you from? Where are you from? You're watching this right now? Tell me where you're from so I can understand who's watching this video. Drop down right here where you're watching from, pretty please. South Los Angeles is in the house. I'm in LA, my friend. I leave tomorrow morning, but I'm still here. By the time I got my workout in, Anaheim, Omira's in the house. Omira, I want to see a picture in your t-shirt. What's up, everybody? How you doing, San Antonio? Okay, so now listen. Now that there's a couple people here, let me roll these windows up. I'm going to take you guys out here in Santa Monica, California. If you are a single man, holy smokes, you should see. Let me. God bless California. All you people who hack California, you are not looking at what I'm looking at right now. Holy God bless the United States of America. Iowa, hello from Spain. Good to see you. Okay, so now let's talk about something. Let's talk about something important here. Before we met, and let me know if you guys have watched Overturn Terry Part 1. I'll put it in the comments after this. But before we met, you guys were still saying qualified immunity, right? And over time, we've learned, and we could see on graphics that I've literally given away, and the codes still work. The free codes still work. I did not turn them off. The free codes still work. So many people are downloading the poster and the ebook that I just want you guys to get it. And the people who can buy it, they are buying it. A few people are buying it. So thank you for those of you guys who buy it. The free codes, Overturn Terry versus Ohio and Terry versus Ohio has to go. Those both still work for the website. You know, I would rather more people saw this and knew this than anything else in my entire life. More than anything in the world, I want you to see the data. I want you to see it, open it up on a computer and look at it. You know, maybe go print it out at FedEx office or send it into Vista Prints. I literally want you to see the data. Oh, another thing, 2 dozen double XL sweatshirts, 2 dozen double XL sweatshirts. I've had 50 people ask me for double XL sweatshirts. Now what Gavin did is set up where there's a countdown, because when I got to LA, this is where you get the good material for the good shirts. And so I immediately ran downtown this morning. I got a dozen, I think I have a dozen large and 10 medium and 1 and 10 double XL. So there's that. Anyway, so now let's get into the meat of what we're going to talk about as far as the social contract and the rule of law. And I was giving you guys the analogy that before we met, everybody was saying qualified immunity, and now you might realize that 9 out of 10 of those qualified immunity cases happen from a Terry stop. And so you're like, you know, maybe 9 out of 10 stops ending, and then we go after qualified immunity, right? I want to end 9 out of 10 of those stops, right? And so now when you guys, as I've been showing you guys the social contract, and remember, I don't own any of these ideas. These are all Enlightenment thinkers, and if any of you guys listen to Leviathan, you know Thomas Hobbes is smarter than you. He's smarter than you are, and he's smarter than I am by far. And so now you guys have been hearing these things about different types of social orders. But in real world application, the reason why it's called the Enlightenment era is because the rule of law and having a Republican representative is an enlightening idea. You are not becoming subservient to a master because we all agree to a rule of law. And so what I'm going to show you guys here, I'm actually going to walk around and I'm going to show you guys what happens if there isn't a social contract that we all adhere to a rule of law. And I learned this because I actually did the reading of the social contract, and I actually listened to Leviathan. And so I understand their concept, and now I'll be able to show you their concepts in a real world walk around Santa Monica, and you're going to get to see some really beautiful things, by the way. So let's do that. Without further ado, let's do it. Let me kill this light here. So I'm just going to back through here. I'm going to park this thing. Whoop, whoop. So when there, without rule of law, what would happen is, and by the way, this I'm not saying anything that hasn't sorry, I'm driving and I can't think and drive at the same time. This damn parking lot is ridiculous. Welcome. There we go. Sorry, that sucks. Time sucks, sorry. Boom. Let's do it. Okay, I can kill this light. Before I do that, I'm gonna need water. My mouth's so dry. I ran Runyon Canyon. I wish I could have taken you guys with me to Runyon Canyon, but I couldn't. Sorry about the thing going out, but the people who leave are gonna miss out. This is gonna be awesome. You're going to thoroughly enjoy this because you're going to get to see some stuff here in California that you probably wouldn't see unless you lived right here. So my mouth's just super dry, so. Without the rule of law, what happens is factions are created that become violent. In a giant democracy. Remember, Jean-Jacques Rousseau's social contract didn't say a social contract for an entire nation. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's social contract said that you should have very small, homogeneous societies of the same kinds of people together. He essentially was a segregation. I mean, I can't say that that's what it said, but his exact terminology was that they should be homogeneous, meaning that they're homogenous. They should all be the same kind of people. And there was slavery involved too. And that was Montesquieu's big thing, by the way. Montesquieu, who's going to write the separation of powers, he writes that there should be 3 different bodies of government, the executive, the legislative, and the congressional, and the slavery should be ended globally. That's Charles de Montesquieu. You want to talk about slavery coming to an end? Charles de Montesquieu, 1588 to, he lives 91 years. Okay. Now I'm going to show you guys. Yeah, Montesquieu's big thing was an end to slavery. No more slavery. Hold on, I'll be out of here in 1 second. If it's still glitchy, I'll be out of here in 1 second. I hope anyway. I'll try to go super fast. Whoop, whoop, whoop. If you guys can stay with me. Whoop. Does that bring me down to the road? It sure does. Perfect. Okay, so now there's no rule of law. We're going to play a game here in Santa Monica. Hey, buddy. There's no rule of law, so if I want to walk down this driveway right here, because I'm free, because I'm a free person, and I don't have to adhere to your rule of law, I'll walk down this driveway if I want. People are trying to pull in right here. Hey, listen, I'm free, okay? I'm free, right? And by the way, if your car pulls in here and you get upset because I'm in the way, then what happens? There's no rule of law. I'm free. Don't mess with me. Okay. I can do it. I can do it a little bit. Light's a little bit bright. So now, when I come down here, I want to show you guys something. Okay, right here. Remember, see these 3 businesses back here? Me and my buddies, we all train MMA all the time, right? So what we do is we come right down here. And what we do is we just sit at the tables right here for a long time, and then pretty soon, because there's no rule of law, we form a faction, and we say that anybody coming by right here, you know, they have to pay homage to our restaurants because, you know, this is our space right here. We own these 3 restaurants here. There's no rule of law. And since there's no rule of law, we will decide what happens right here, because remember, we all go to MMA practice. We're all A personalities. We all know we're super tough guys. And so we own this little area over here. This little area right here is our area. There's no rule of law. The strongest are in charge. Oh, you want a free society where you can do whatever you want? That's fine. Well, me and my guys decided that this area right here, it belongs to us. This is our area. Cool? Cool. Now, you know what? Now I'm on the bike path. You see that? They created a bike path here, and I'm on the bike path. I'm just walking down the bike path. If a bike is coming down here, bike might be doing 60, 70 miles an hour, but I'm free. There's no social contract. I don't agree to adhere to any laws. I'm a free person. I'm gonna walk down right here. What's the problem? Oh, you mean the cyclist had to get out of the bike lane and go over there? The cyclist had to go over there because there's no rule of law? When you go back into time, look, you know, I only know what I know, right? So I don't know the history of every part of the world, but I do know this. Before the concept of the social contract, before the concept that we all agreed to adhere to at least a basis of law, it was a very, you know, anarchy society. It was very, very, very dangerous and very rural. Think about the Wild West. If I don't have to, if there's no rule for me not to be in the bike lane, I'm a free person. I'm just walking. The road was publicly paid for, so I'll just walk in the bike lane. There's no rule of law. I'll do whatever I want. Oh, here comes someone on a bike. They're speeding by. See, there's a bike lane with a rule of law attached to it. and don't get me wrong, it can be done all better. I'm not saying that the bike lane laws, I don't know them all. There's probably too many, and it's probably stupid. That's our government just trying to get money out of you any way they possibly can. But at the same time, without the rule of law, there's no rule of law, right? So you're driving down the road in your car, you didn't need a driver's license, did you? Nah, no rule of law. So now what I do is I just go ahead, you know what I think I'll do? Anybody coming? Anybody coming left to right? Anybody coming? Yeah, I'll just mosey through the road. I'll just walk right through the road right here. There's no rule of law. There's no rule of law. There's nothing that's going to stop me, walking right down the middle of the road, right down the double yellow lines. There's no rule of law. There's no rule of law. Oh, this car's got to get through? I'm only kidding. I never break the law, as you know. There's a crosswalk right there. Do you understand? There's a guy and his girlfriend over there. They're having a conversation, right? It looks like they're having a little romance tiff. If I go mind my own business over there with that guy and his girlfriend, there's no rule of law. He can punch me in the nose. He's having a hard night. Him and his girlfriend are fighting. They're outside the club. Am I right or am I wrong? You guys do. So it's like, oh, by the way, good Lord, you have no idea. Single men of the world, you have no idea what I'm looking at. Woo. You can say what you want about LA. Woo! I've been in a lot of cities for the last few months. Wow. LA is a beautiful place. LA is a beautiful place. So we're still that there's no rule of law, right? So it says here that there's a reservation system here, but there's no rule of law. We're just going to go in there and sit down and have a seat at a table. We're just going to sit at that table. There's no rule of law. There's no social contract. We don't all agree that I could be trespassed from there. It's a public space, right? Private building, private owner, but you see what I'm getting at? If there's no rule of law, what happens if I just go sit down in there and have a seat at the table and say, I'm going to sit down and eat? There's no rule of law. What system are we going to replace it with? What system do we replace rule of law with? Tell me that one. Riddle me that one. You're free, right? I'm free, and I got the Second Amendment. You guys know how hard right I am about the Second Amendment. Every single gun law should be wiped off the books. Shouldn't be a single gun law. Gun law, those two words, they don't work. In America, gun law does not work. It's not possible. It's impossible. Impossible. Imagine if you had told Patrick Henry, yeah, we're going to have gun law. Whoa, he would have shot you dead as soon as you said gun law. There's no rule of law. Hit the number 1 button. You guys hit the number 1 button. You still here? Because I know I can just kind of go off. I can just go off and just start talking. But I want to make sure you guys understand what I'm saying. If there's not going to be a social contract, then what is there? If there's no social contract, what is there? Anybody? What's the next system? How does it work? Now, what I believe personally is that checks and balances on power didn't go far enough. There should have been checks and balances on power down each branch of government. And the judiciary wasn't laid out well enough. And they took all the power for themselves in Marbury versus Madison in 1803. So if there's no rule of law,